Hi, everyone. Mike White here. Welcome to this week's vlog post. I think this week I'm going to take a step aside from the normal conversations that we have about the mortgage industry, real estate, and all of those things. I think the monthly coaching call that we had this past Tuesday really covered a lot of ground from a mortgage and real estate standpoint that is helpful, useful, and things that you can use, right now to succeed. I wanted to take this time this week in this post to, remember, the whole approach to Memorial Day weekend and some of the things and some of my thoughts about it. And again, these opinions are mine, but I want to share an experience because for many of the people that I work with, they have grown up in a different time, and today is a different environment than what many of us remember. And as a young boy, Memorial Day was always about parades and ball games and barbecues. It was about a time when, friends and families would gather and they would tell the stories. And my generation, again, in the 50s, was ripe with adults. Most recently, the Korean War, but World War II, and even World War I veterans were around, and those people and the country had faced these things together and understood what the costs were and the sacrifices that people had made. And I think as I continued to grow up and we got into the 60s and faced Vietnam and gone through that whole process, I think my age group is the last age group that went through, being drafted in the draft lottery. I think it had things that people thought about in a way that not necessarily takes place today. And again, as an adult now, since then, we've had numerous military engagements around the world since the Vietnam War was concluded. And I think, many of us forget the sacrifices that happened and those that have gone and given the last full measure of their devotion to their country. I think we forget in many cases that those actions by those people really need to be acknowledged for the fact that that's the very actions that allow us to be spending so much time now engaged in extreme disagreement from a political standpoint, an ideology standpoint. And I'm not taking sides in that. I'm saying that those sacrifices made by those people is what allows for these types of conversations or these types of, in some cases, altercations to actually happen. And I think this weekend needs to be built around remembering that, taking some time to really understand that there are people out there that on a daily basis are prepared to give their lives in defense of what this country stands for. And they do so voluntarily. That's the other amazing piece about this. These men and women do this on their own volition by choice. And I think it's important that we remember that, and that's Memorial Day. And I get it. It's a long weekend, and many people are just excited about the time off or the barbecues. And I'm not saying it's don't have the barbecues and enjoy your friends and family and do the ball games and all that other. I'm not saying don't do that, because I myself am going to do that. But as my shirt would suggest today, worth fighting for shares, and as this vlog post shares, it's just a reminder that I, as someone who's lived through that time period, are going to make sure that my children and grandchildren are exposed to the conversation about what to be, aware of what Memorial Day, really means. And the time it takes to reflect on that, just to understand for a few minutes that this is, again, a reality. It's the reality of where we've been for the last 245 years. As a country, there have always been people who would respond, patriots who believed that it was worth fighting for and did so, and gave, again, the last full measure of devotion to their country and their fellow citizens. So please, I want you to have a safe and happy weekend, but take some time to remember what has taken place before us. Have those conversations. And again, it's okay that people have differing opinions about things. That's about what this country is. The freedom to have those disagreements, the freedom to have different points of view and be able to share them open and honestly without reprisal. And I think maybe we should remember that as well. I think you can disagree with somebody without them being an enemy. You can disagree with somebody without them being stupid or wanting to fight with them, or, even worse. So remember what took place, remember what takes place on a daily basis, and remember why we have the rights that we do to go forward. America is far from a perfect country, but it is as close as man has ever gotten. And I think we owe it to ourselves and the people that have come before us that guaranteed we'd have the right to have these discussions, that we remember them this weekend. So take care, enjoy yourself, be safe, and we'll talk to you again next week. Goodbye.